Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another Star Wars Unlimited Deck Tech, and today we are talking about combo. More specifically, Imperial Aggression combo. Now, I have Darth Vader here showing as my leader, and that is accurate to the list that I played on Wednesday. I do like Vader a lot in this list as the leader, but there are a couple of other options that we'll discuss after we talk about the combo. So Darth Vader is a aggression villainy unit that has an action of 1 resource and exhaust him. If you played a villainy card this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a base. His epic action is if you control 7 or more resources, deploy this leader. On his deployed side, he is a 5/8 with on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a unit. Both of the damage effects are relevant to what we're trying to do here. So we are running Vader, and we are running a 30-point aggression base. So we are double red villainy. And the reason that we're not running Tarkin Town, you can run Tarkin Town if you want. I'm going to talk about it as an option. I just feel like, being that we're such a fragile combo deck and we don't really have any way to defend our base, the best thing we can do is have more health. So we have more health. Tarkin Town, the trade-off is that Darth Vader works well with Tarkin Town in that you can deal 1 damage to something and then finish it off with a Tarkin Town potentially. I don't think it's strong enough in this particular deck to warrant to warrant the loss of 5 health off the rip. So we do not run Tarkin Town in this list. We're running Catacombs of Chirrut. It doesn't matter which one. You can run the Kestro City if you want. And this is just the one that I grabbed. So I mentioned we are a combo deck, so we're going to talk about that combo. And our combo starts out with Admiral Mahdi. Admiral Mahdi is a 2-resource Imperial unit with a 1/1 stat line that says when defeated, you may ready an Imperial unit. So as you might expect here, we're going to try to beef something up and attack with it a bunch of times. That is our combo. What we're beefing up is either going to be our leader in Darth Vader, who is a very good target for this combo. However, he's a late target. He doesn't come out until turn 6 at the earliest, because we are not running green to get any ramp. So, Fifth Brother is the primary combo piece because he will enable himself. If you attack with him, you can give him a raid 1 by dealing 1 damage to himself, and then 1 damage to another unit. So you can use that 1 damage to hit Mahdi, which will defeat Mahdi and ready Fifth Brother, because Fifth Brother is obviously a villainy unit. So that is essentially the combo. And how we're going to make it a game-winning combo is with lightsabers. So Vader's lightsaber says when played, attached to a non-vehicle unit, that matters. But when played, if attached unit is Darth Vader, you can deal 4 damage to a ground unit. We don't really care about that, except in the Vader list, it does come up, and 4 damage can deal with a Gamorrean Guards or a cell block guard, which is a very nice benefit. Fallen lightsaber reads attached to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a force unit, it gains on attack, deal 1 damage to each ground unit the defending player controls. So that's nice too. That's why all of our units for the combo are force units, because we want the full effect out of Fallen lightsaber. However, we don't really care about the text on the card. What we care about is the +3/+3 and +3/+1. We are trying to make our attacker as big as we can, so that we can use as few Admiral Mahdis to win the game as we can. It's important to note that Vader's lightsaber has this star, which denotes that it is a unique card, which means you can only have 1 on the battlefield at a time, which is kind of sad because it is the cheaper option. And if we only care about the +3, the cheaper option would be nice. But Fallen lightsaber, on the other hand, is not a unique unit. So you can have all 3 of these on the battlefield at the same time if the situation comes up. Very strong in that it now allows you to deal 2 damage if you have 2 of them, 3 damage if you have all 3 of them in some crazy situation. I don't expect that to ever happen for you, but if it does, drop a comment, let me know, because that's cool. Vader's lightsaber, on the other hand, is best played on Vader, even though we do care about the 3. You can play it on any unit, but it's best on Vader. So that's our combo. We do have another saber carrier, and that's Seventh Sister. Seventh Sister gets very good in games that have a lot of Gamorrean guards, that have a lot of cell block guards, other Sentinel. Lieutenant Childson's a good one that's tough to deal with, where Saboteur just says, I don't care about you, Childson, I'm gonna win this game. Very, very nice in that she comes down as a 3/6, so she's already kind of a stout stat line, and that makes the 6 defense makes her tough to deal with. I don't think she's better than just using your leader, but sometimes that Saboteur is very relevant, so we do run her as a playset. So that's the combo. Let's talk about a couple of options with the combo. Now, I know I said I was going to talk about Tarkin Town later, and I already talked about Tarkin Town, but you can run Tarkin Town if you want to. I just don't like it for the reasons we already discussed. Other leaders, this deck it doesn't really care about what leader you run. So another good option is Grand Inquisitor. Some might think that it's a better option because his action ability is free. You deal 2 damage to a friendly unit with 3 or less power and ready it, so you're just using this to kill Mahdi. However, he does come down a turn earlier on turn 6. However, he is only a 3/6, so he has the same stat line as the Seventh Sister. And that makes him a little bit less good as a combo piece carrier. Vader with the 5 damage is sometimes relevant. If you're getting 3 sabers on someone, Grand Inquisitor is going to be fine. I do like Grand Inquisitor as a leader in this deck. I don't like him enough to outweigh the fact that Vader is a 5/8 and much more difficult to deal with. The other leader that gets talked about when this combo comes up a lot is IG-88. I do not like IG-88 as this leader, but some people do. IG-88 comes down on your 5 resource turn. His action ability does nothing for us, and he flips and becomes a 5/4. He is a leader that gets beaten by a single card. Open fire defeats him. Aggression defeats him. Lots of cards that cost less than he does beat him. You have to get a shield or some defense on him pretty much immediately. The way this deck works with this leader is you have to wait for your opponent to take the initiative while you still have a lot of action remaining, while you still have an IG-88 flip, and then you have to defeat them on that turn. The biggest benefit of IG-88 is he has 5 health, or 5 damage, and comes down on turn 4. So he's a much faster way to win the game. Assuming you can flip him on 5 and have 2 lightsabers ready and a Mahdi already on the battlefield. But that seems like a lot to ask for in a meta right now that is being kind of pushed by Control. So he is an option. I don't love it as an option. Some people do. I think that if you're going to run this particular build, you're going to want to run Grand Inquisitor or Darth Vader, and I chose to go with Darth Vader. There is one other option with this list that requires a little bit more work. That's Emperor Palpatine, and he is obviously not the right colors. However, his action ability is pay a resource, defeat a friendly unit, deal 1 damage to a unit, and draw a card. So he does a lot of stuff well. He also puts us in green, which allows us to resupply and potentially command if we wanted to play that at 6, but I don't think you should ever be playing command at 6. Being able to push into the late game earlier is nice, and Palpatine is a very scary lightsaber carrier because he's a 4/10 when he flips over on your 8 resource turn. And then on attack, you can defeat another friendly unit if you do deal a damage to a unit and draw a card. So you can just defeat Mahdi with him when he attacks to get him to ready an attack again. So if you wanted to do a little bit of extra work to the deck, you could replace Vader with Palpatine, and then you get a little bit of ramp action. Again, I think that I've streamlined this deck as a mono red deck. I've been working on it for a couple of weeks, trying to streamline it. Maybe I will put some time into a Palpatine version of this deck and see what I can come up with. But right now, I'm thinking that Darth Vader is the best leader for this deck. And I did play it on Wednesday at my local, and I went 2-1. I beat Iden Green and I beat Chirrut Red, which are two pretty strong decks. So that surprised me that I was able to pull off the win. The prize support changing kind of enabled people to play some more fun builds versus just jamming the metal all day. So I brought this list, and I did well. So that prompted me to make a video on it. I have been working on it for a while, and I didn't really know if I was ever going to get to the stage where I was going to make a video on it. So beyond the combo, we have some support cards. So we're going to talk about those now. Admiral Ozzel is one. He's a very good card to have on the battlefield when your opponent takes the initiative early, because then you can use his action, play your Imperial unit, and ready it, which can be your combo piece. So you play a fifth brother out of your hand for 3. If you've got 6 or 7 resources, you can play your fifth brother out of your hand for free. Your opponent gets to ready a unit, but that doesn't matter if they've already taken the initiative. So this is very much a situational card. You have to play this card correctly. Once you play your fifth brother, if you've got a couple of lightsabers in hand or a lightsaber and a Mahdi, you can just dump those out onto the battlefield. Then you can attack with your fifth brother and just start your combo process. So he's kind of a combo enabler. We run 2 of them. Kind of the same thing here. When played, you may attack with a unit. If it's an Imperial unit, you get +2/+0 for the attack. Snow Trooper Lieutenant is very good in this deck. The +2/+0 is only for the 1 attack, but that 2 damage can sometimes be the difference between winning the game and losing the game. I was able to swing a Vader when I played this deck live. I was able to swing a Vader for 24 damage using a Snow Trooper Lieutenant and a pair of lightsabers. So it's very strong. We're running them as a playset. They can also combo. They combo with Ozzel, because you play an Imperial unit from your hand, it enters ready. So it's kind of a pseudo energy conversion lab that you don't have to use the ambush, because your Snow Trooper Lieutenant enters ready, then you use its ability on itself because it is still an Imperial unit, so you get to swing for 4 right away. So it can be a finisher if you require a finisher. If you're 4 damage short, this guy's a great way. That's a great little additional combo to end the game. So we run a playset of Snow Trooper Lieutenant. We run 2 Viper Probe Droids because we need to make sure, if we're trying to jam our combo before the opponent, while the opponent can still interact before they've taken the initiative, that we need to know what they're going to be able to do. So Viper Probe Droid lets us see what's going on in their hand. And also, it is a ground unit, and as weird as it seems, it can carry lightsabers. So sometimes you need to look to other sources of damage. Putting a Vader's lightsaber on a Viper Probe Droid sometimes is a necessary evil. So we run them as a duo. And then finally, for our ground support units, we run a playset of 3 cell block guards. Having a cell block guard down gives us Sentinel, which helps make it so that they can't directly attack our combo pieces. It helps with Power of the Dark Side, so that they can't just power the dark side. We just sacrifice our cell block guard instead of our combo piece. Same thing with all of these. You're going to sacrifice Snow Trooper Lieutenant or Viper Probe Droid or Admiral Ozzel before you sacrifice any combo pieces to power, so they all help with that. But cell block guard is just a good card to have in this deck because it does take some heat off your combo pieces. So that is the ground support. And then what do we have in the air? Well, not a whole heck of a lot. And this is where the list kind of gets a little bit odd. Excuse me. This list gets a little bit odd here. We are running a full playset of Imperial Interceptors. This is our control card for the early game against space units. We're using it to defeat Red 3s. We're using it to defeat A-Wings. A-Wings have done a lot of damage by the time this card comes down, but you still need to deal with them. So we run a playset of Imperial Interceptors, and this is the only normal card that's left in the space unit. Now we're running a pair of Starwing Scouts. So this is an interesting card in that it's a 3-drop 4/1. When defeated, if you have the initiative, draw 2 cards. So its stat line is good. You get your five total stats for 3. That's fine. This deck is relatively easy to maintain the initiative until you're trying to combo off. So this card's very good at drawing you into your combo and dealing damage. So your opponent's going to want to deal with this because it has a 4 power stat line. And they're not going to want to deal with it because if they do, it lets you draw 2 cards if you keep maintaining the initiative. So it's kind of a decision card for them. Do they want to keep taking 4 damage? Do they want to let you draw 2 cards? So that's why this one's good. I like it a lot. I found that in this deck, drawing cards is very, very strong, and we'll talk about that more when we get into the events. But we run Starwing Scout as a pair. I could argue for a playset, and that depends on your meta. I will discuss this next card this next card I have a pair of instead of a singleton at the cost of 1 Starwing Scout, but it's because it's a meta decision. And that next card is Disabling Fangfighter in the main board, because our deck just dies to Traitorous. If they Traitorous if you're all in on a 5th brother, and they Traitorous that 5th brother, your game is over. You have to kill your 5th brother, and by then you defeat your own 5th brother, and by the time you build back up, you are so far behind that you're not going to win this game. However, when they Traitorous and you Disabling Fangfighter to defeat that upgrade, and you get them right back, that is such a feel bad for them, because you get your 5th brother back, you get Power of the Dark Side protection, you get a 3/2 in the air. It's such a swing that this card, I'm running this as a pair because in my meta there's a lot of Traitorous, there's a lot of Entrenched. So those cards are very difficult to deal with. And in a pinch, this can come down and just pop a shield, and make life considerably more difficult for the shield decks. So that's our entire space wing of our deck. We're only running 7 space units, and I know that seems a little bit light, but we have some other answers for space units in the events, which we'll talk about here. The first event we're looking at is Force Throw. The reason we put so many Force units in the deck is because we're going to utilize that Force synergy, and Force Throw is very strong. You can obviously choose yourself to discard a card and deal some damage. However, our deck curves at 5, so unless you have a 7th Sister and you're willing to throw it away with a Force Throw, the most damage you're going to deal is 5. This is much better used to have your opponent discard when you have a 5th brother down, to make them throw something, and then you deal damage based on whatever they choose to throw. For that reason, we're only running it as a pair. We are running a full playset of Force Lightning. This is a way to get around Sentinel, because much like Traitorous, Sentinel is difficult for this deck to deal with. 7th Sister has Saboteur, which helps. But if you're using 7th Sister, you're starting your combo way later, etc., etc. Force Lightning can, whether you have a Force unit in play or not, Force Lightning can shut Sentinel off. So this is very helpful. We're running this as a full play set. I only have one of the fancy ones, but we're running this as a full play set. Situationally, this can be used as a removal. I don't always like to use it as a removal because I would rather be using my resources to do other things, but sometimes you need to do what you need to do. So, full playset of Force Throws. We are running a single Power Failure. Power Failure is a very strong card for the same reasons Disabling Fangfighter is a very strong card, because we auto-lose to Treacherous, and Entrenched is very difficult to deal with. This can also help you against the Vader decks that are putting a whole bunch of shields the Tarkin decks that are putting a whole bunch of counters. It basically auto kills Chilton because shields and experience are upgrades. So they play a Chilton, show you their whole hand. You power failure, knock all of the experience off him. They got a 2/2 with Sentinel. That's not all that tough to deal with. Vader can deal with it when he attacks. So power failure is another meta decision. I have a few ways to deal with Traitorous and Entrenched just built into the main board because it is such an important card to be able to deal with. But we're only running one power failure. Full play set of Force Chokes. Force Choke is such a strong card, dealing 5 damage to non-vehicle unit. If you have your combo enabled, you can play this for 1, use it to kill Mahdi, and draw yourself a card. So this is also a very situational, or it's a very versatile card, because you can use it as removal early, or you can use it to help enable your combo late. This card's very good in the IG-88 build of the deck if you're not using IG-88 to attack. I don't know why you... I mean, it's still fine because it only costs 2, but this, I think, is how IG-88 is able to enable itself as a combo deck. But the fact that you have to do it makes it significantly worse. But Force Choke is very strong. Full playset there. Open Fire, we're running a full playset. This is our control card. We have to play the control deck early, especially against decks like Sabine. We have to be able to answer their threats as they play them. Open Fire helps us do that. That's all this card's for. 4 damage, 3 resource. This card I want to talk about for a minute. I ran it as a 2-of on Wednesday, and every single time I saw it, I was super excited. This card punches way above its weight class. I was so impressed with Mission Briefing that I moved it up to a 3-of, because choose a player, they draw 2 cards. It's very innocuous. Doesn't seem like it's all that great, whatever. On turn 2, you start drawing extra cards. You're not really worried about the damage on your base. The stuff that happens on turn 2 against most decks doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the game unless you're playing against the hyper aggro decks. Then you kind of got to be careful. But drawing 2 cards puts you in such an advantage position that it draws you into your removal, it draws you into your combo pieces, it draws you into your support. It just gets you deeper into your deck so that you have the options that you need to make this deck go. So after having 3 force throws and 2 mission briefings for my tournament on Wednesday, I decided to swap that and put the 3rd mission briefing in at the cost of the 3rd force throw. This card is very good. It's getting slept on right now. It is so underplayed. Play this card. You're going to love this card. Full play set. And then the primary reason that we are double red, Aggression is such a great card. More often than not, we're drawing a card and dealing 4 damage. However, this card also has a built-in way to deal with Traitorous and Entrenched. So looking at the card, if one of the hardest things for us to deal with is Sentinel, and this card deals with the biggest Sentinel threat off the rip. So we can draw a card and deal 4 damage to Gamorrean guards. We can draw a card, deal 4 damage to cell block guards. We can defeat 2 upgrades and deal 4 damage to a Childson. It's a 1-card answer to every single relevant Sentinel that's being played right now. This card is so very good. Even if you're just using it as a removal draw card. We're not very often using it to ready a unit with 3 or less power because we don't have many. Once we start suiting up with lightsabers, we don't meet that power curve. That's the whole deck. I really enjoyed playing this deck. I thought it was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to bring it and just get stomped on, and the deck actually had some legs. So give it a shot. I don't think this deck is a top tier deck. I don't think you're going to take it to a store showdown and top 8 or whatever, but I think you'll have a lot of fun playing it. And if that's what you're looking to do, give it a shot. All right, if you like what you saw here, go ahead and smash that like button. If you want to find your way back for more Star Wars Unlimited content, smash that sub button. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great day.
from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them.